It is officially Christmas at the Dollar Tree, which means I have a lot of fun and exciting projects to share with you guys that I've been working on in preparation for this holiday season. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. For the first project, I wanted to make a plaid bow pillow. So from the Dollar Tree, I picked up 2 of these plaid placemats you can find in the kitchen section, and I faced them good sides facing together, so bad sides out. And we are just gonna start by making your very typical pillow for the holidays, and then we're gonna spruce it up in a minute. So I just took my hot glue gun. You can choose to sew this if that is your preference, but for the sake of speed, I decided to just hot glue all of the ends together, leaving one side open, and then I'm gonna flip it right side out. Making this pillow cover just as it is a standard size lumbar pillow cover, but I wanted to make mine into the shape of a bow. So due to that, I decided to just take batting from an old pillow I wasn't actively using and fill it that way. I filled up the pillow about 90% of the way, and then I hot glued that last seam together. And you can totally stop here, but I kind of wanted to just take it an extra step further. So I ended up finding this really beautiful ribbon at the thrift store for just $1. And I just wanted to cinch the pillow in the middle to almost give a bow-like shape. And this is the end result. Super fun, super festive for only a few dollars. Project number 2 brings me to making a Christmas candelabra. So to start, I needed to find a Christmas dinner plate. So I ended up finding this one at the thrift store, but you can definitely use the ones that the Dollar Tree carries. And the next thing I needed to do was head on over to the hardware store, and I picked up these copper pipes. I picked up 4 of them. They are 0.75 inches in diameter, and all we have to do is attach them to the plate. And to do so, I would say you could probably just use hot glue, but I like that added security. So I do add super glue gel to the bottom of each of these copper pipes just to make sure that it stays nice and put. And I just placed these down somewhat randomly, but leaving enough space for a candle snuffer to also sit on top of the plate. And to finish off the project, I ended up picking up a pack of red taper candles from the Dollar Tree, as well as white taper candles and a candle snuffer. So for under $10, I think I have a really beautiful candle display for the holidays. Project number 3 brings me to making a DIY marble-based nutcracker. So to start from the Dollar Tree, you'll need to pick up 1 of these nutcrackers, and you'll just want to remove that hair. Sometimes the adhesive does stick on a little bit, so if that happens to you, just take a little bit of nail polish remover to try to break up that adhesive. And now it's just time for a little bit of paint, and I'm choosing to use this one by Magnolia Home in the color Shiplap. And that's just really to unify everything, because that really is the kind of style that you see on a lot of high-end home decor stores. And because these little guys are so lightweight and I wanted to just give it a bit more stability, I decided to take a marble tea light candle holder and just add some super glue gel as well as some hot glue and attach those 2 pieces together to give it a more high-end appearance in the end. Project number 4 brings me to making a Jingle Bell wreath. So to start, I'm going to end up using just the smaller of these 2 wreath rings from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to make a small cut at the top using some pliers, and I'm just going to string these bells all the way through. I ended up using 2 packs of bells, so I think it's 12 bells all together. Now I need to reattach everything, so again, taking my wire cutters, I'm going to take some floral wire and just attach those pieces back together, as well as attach that center ring just to give it some more visual interest. And you can totally use ribbon from the Dollar Tree, but as I showed you guys earlier, I found that huge bag of ribbon for just $1 at my local thrift store, so I'm going to be using that instead, and I'm going to attach the ribbon to the top of this wreath. And to fill that top section in just a little bit more, I ended up just adding some faux greenery that I had just stowed away in my stash, and I just filled all the way around that top piece there, and this was the end result. Project number 5 brings me to making a faux stone stocking holder. So to start, I ended up finding these really beautiful deer at my local Dollar Tree, as well as I needed something for it to sit on top of. So I opted for these tiles here. They were only 35 cents at my local hardware store, which is cheaper than anything you would be able to purchase at the Dollar Tree. So I just combined these two pieces together using some super glue gel, and I'm going to start off by just giving it one coat of some stone spray paint, and then I'm going to spray paint it black, and then I'm going to finish it off again with additional stone spray paint to give a really nice textured effect. And after giving it a matte clear sealer, I just brought it inside, and I'm going to super glue gel one of these stocking holders to the middle of the bottom of this tile. And for just about $12, I was able to create a set of 4 of these reindeer stocking holders on a budget. Now that we've made our stocking holders, it's just time now to make a stocking. So to start, you'll need a couple placemats from the Dollar Tree. Again, you'll find these in the kitchen section. I also ended up grabbing a stocking that they were selling that was already made that I just didn't really like the pattern of, just so I could get the general shape of the stocking down. I ended up just placing them good sides facing together, bad sides facing out, and I'm just gonna glue around the perimeter of what I cut except for the top section there. I loved these ones from Pottery Barn that had the faux fur on the top, so I decided to grab one of these scarves, and we're basically just going to cover this top section here. It also helps to add a little bit of height to the stocking as well, and we're just going to glue this down around this top section here. I ended up hot gluing both the front and the back before I cut anything off, and then after I cut it, I just kind of overlapped one into another. And what's really nice about this scarf is it's really forgiving, so you can't really see a seam or anything like that because it is faux fur. And then I just added a little bit of suede ribbon to the inside so it would have a means to hang it, and this is how it turned out. Number 7 brings me to making a Jingle Bell card display. So to start, I found this really beautiful light garland with acrylic clips at the Dollar Tree for just $1.25. And again, taking that ribbon that I picked up from the thrift store, I wanted to make just something pretty to put up on the wall to display holiday cards, and I decided it would make it just a little bit more fun, a little bit more festive to add some bells to this light up garland. So the trickiest part with this project is finding a way to kind of disguise that battery pack when it's up on the wall like that. So I just decided I was going to take 2 of the bows on either side, so that was going to help me quite a bit, but I also needed to kind of make a pocket for the battery pack to sit inside of, so I would be able to turn it on and off. That's kind of the downfall when you use things from the Dollar Tree, is there's not a remote that comes with it, so I can't easily turn it on and off, so I do have to be able to easily access it. And once that pocket was created, I just hot glued those bows on either side of the ribbon, and I actually just used the light wire and I hung it up that way, so it was super simple to hang up. I also think this would look really beautiful in an entryway, kind of like cascading off of a mirror or something like that, but for just a few dollars, this is a really beautiful way to display holiday greeting cards. Speaking of entryways, I love a good seasonal set of wall hooks. So to start, I had this scrap piece of wood left over, and I ended up finding these Dollar Tree deer ornaments. Now, these were definitely not the most uniform thing the Dollar Tree has ever sold. Some of them were like having antlers breaking apart. So after I was able to just free them from everything that was disturbing me, and I was left with something that looked like this. So all I needed to do now was just evenly distribute each of these ornaments onto this scrap piece of wood, and to attach them, I did a combination of hot glue as well as super glue gel, and I just made sure that they were pretty much evenly spaced. I didn't measure anything, I just kind of eyeballed this, and I wanted to make sure that I would be able to kind of fit something on the antlers as well as on the base of each ornament. But one thing I really just didn't love was the finish on the actual ornament. There was glitter on some spaces, but not on others. So just to unify everything, I wanted it to almost feel like it was made of plaster. I started off by just giving it a once over with some Magnolia shiplap chalk spray paint, and then I plaster painted over the entire thing. And by plaster painting, all I mean is I'm going to just dilute plaster just ever so slightly so it becomes a more paintable substance. Otherwise, it's a bit too thick. And this is the finished result. I think this is a really nice way to kind of add seasonality to your space without it feeling overwhelming. Project number 9 brings me to making a bell recipe card holder. So to start, I took this deer from the Dollar Tree, just like I showed you guys before, and I'm going to super glue gel his feet to the top of this tile. Now, because I know this is going to be going in my kitchen, I prefer to use a gloss spray paint because it's a bit more wipeable, and you know, with food and other things, I want to make sure that it is nice and protected. And I had one bell left over, so I'm just going to flip this upside down and do a combination of hot glue and super glue gel, and I'm just going to place it upside down so that the recipe card will be able to sit in the slit on the top of the bell. Next up, we are going to make a faux fur and pearl wreath. So to start, I grabbed a green foam wreath form from the Dollar Tree, as well as one of these infinity scarves from the Dollar Tree. And we're just gonna wrap it around as shown here. Once that wreath form was basically in the center of that infinity scarf, I just overlapped the fabric onto itself, adding small dabs of hot glue to secure the fabric in place. And you could definitely stop here to get this very CB2 inspired wreath, but I wanted to just make it feel a little bit more feminine, so I decided to grab some pearls from the Dollar Tree and just sporadically hot glue those all around the front of this wreath. And I think this is a really sweet, neutral, kind of glam option for Christmas. For the next project, we are going to make a copper snowman. So to start, I grabbed one of these copper pipes at my local hardware store, as well as this larger ornament and an ornament that was just slightly smaller for the top. If your Dollar Tree doesn't happen to have these clear ornaments, it doesn't really matter the color that the ornament is, as long as you're using the same color for both the top and the bottom of your snowman. So basically, I'm going to flip the ornament upside down to fit in that copper pipe there, and then for the top, I'm going to need to kind of hollow out this top piece. So I'm going to use my heat tool here just to make life a little bit easier. If your hot glue gun does get pretty hot, you might be able to do it this way, or just carefully with a very small X-Acto knife. After that section was hollowed out, I took it out to the garage to give it a couple coats of that same Magnolia shiplap spray paint, and I'm just going to hot glue these two pieces together. A very simple, fun, festive project on a budget. Project number 12 brings me to making a Santa gnome door stopper. So to start, I had a little bit of leftover ribbon from the thrifted ribbon bag, as well as one of these white fur infinity scarves and something to fill it with. So I'm going to be using rice in this case. So the first thing I needed to do was hot glue those pieces together from the scarf, and then I folded it in half and hot glued those pieces together. So you should have something that looks like this. Then I hot glued the bottom as well as the additional side, so that way it almost was like a pocket. I also grabbed that ribbon, tied it in a knot at the bottom, glued that inside of that white fur pouch. Now it's time to fill it. So I filled it with rice. You can fill it with anything that is somewhat heavy, rocks, whatever you have on hand, I'm sure is fine. And then I'm going to just basically cinch this at the top and then apply loads of hot glue to make sure that that stays nice and put and you don't have rice or rocks all over your floor. With that part basically complete, it's just time now to add our bow. So I'm just going to hot glue the bow on, as well as this little bell for our little nose, and that really wrapped up this project. You guys know I love a high-end home decor moment, but I also love incorporating pieces like this, especially as a mom of 2 small children. I want to make it fun for them, and they love pieces like this for the holidays. Project number 13 is to make some decorative wooden trees. So to start, you're actually not going to go in the Christmas section at all, but you're going to go in sort of like the home decor crafter section and pick up these pieces. So the first thing I needed to do was remove that backing, and I just did so using pliers. You could probably hammer it out, or you could even use an X-Acto knife, but basically you just need to make this section hollow. With those sections hollowed out, it's just time now to sand the back off just to make a nice and smooth finish. So for the smaller of the two, you're just going to sand this off and then glue it to the bottom of one of these wooden containers. And for the other, I took it out to my miter saw and I just made small cuts on either side so that way I would be able to make a taller wooden tree as well. With that part now complete, I just hot glued those pieces all together, and this was the end result. Project number 14 is to make some hanging sleigh bells. So from the Dollar Tree, I picked up one of these doorknob hangers. And here's the thing about the Dollar Tree. Obviously, for $1.25, you're not going to get the best use of materials. But what you do get is a basic structure. So then that way you can really tailor it to your liking. And that's why I love doing Dollar Tree DIYs, because you're getting your basic silhouette, but then you can come in and customize it to be exactly what you want it to be. I did end up purchasing additional bells because I wanted it to be nice and full. After I removed the cording they had chosen to use, I decided to wrap it in a much more neutral and natural material such as twine. Once I was able to completely cover this ring with this jute rope cording, I also needed to add jute rope to each bell so that way it would be able to hang from this knob here. After the cording was securely fastened to each individual bell, I just snipped off the excess. I did add small dabs of hot glue to each bell to make sure that those would stay in place. With all of those bells securely attached to this little hanger here, the last thing I wanted to do was just burn those fibers just to give it a more clean finish in the end. And that really finished off our hanging sleigh bells, a very affordable way to get this look for less. Project number 15 is to make some fluffy white trees. So from the Dollar Tree, they carry them every year. They have these sort of tinsel trees. And once you remove, again, that tinsel, the cheap part, you're left with the basic structure of like cone-shaped tree. So what I decided to do was take, again, a few of these fluffy white scarves you can also find from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to simply wrap this around this structure to give it that same look that you would find at a store like CB2. To start, I took my fabric scissors and I just cut the scarf at its seam, and I kind of just tucked it in to the inside of these trees. That's what's so nice about these trees. You can kind of hide what you're starting and you can get a really nice finished look in the end. I thought I was going to be able to get away with just using one of these scarves, but I did end up needing an additional scarf. So again, I just cut it at its seam and I wrapped it around until the entire tree was completely covered. If you are someone who loves a neutral Christmas, this might be a fun project for you to try on a budget. Project number 16 is to make some festive artwork, and if you're going to do it on a small scale, I recommend using the greeting cards from the Dollar Tree as well as some small scale picture frames. I usually find that those are much better quality than the larger picture frames that the Dollar Tree carries, and you're just going to cut your cards down to the appropriate size. So no, you would not be able to use those again, but it is a nice way to add some seasonality to your space on a budget. Number 17 is to make a eucalyptus wreath with bells. So to start, this is just the wreath form I happen to have. So all I needed was one single arch shape. So you'll see here I'm taking my pliers or my wire cutters and I'm going to remove everything except what's going to give me just that simple arch shape. Other things I ended up using were some brown ribbon, some brown suede, and these scrap eucalyptus pieces I had left over. So I'm just going to kind of mimic that arch shape and almost make it like a horseshoe sort of pattern. After I was happy with the amount of florals I was using, I then took some zip ties and I zip tied everything to that wire wreath form, as well as added some floral wire just to the center so I would be able to add the bells. I ended up just starting off by adding the ribbon all by itself, and then I strung on each individual bell until I was happy with the end result. Number 18 is to make a framed card display. So to start, I ended up finding this picture for free at a garage sale, and my mom really loved the artwork that was inside, but she did not like the frame. So I took the frame home and I thought this would be perfect for Christmas, and I still have it. So basically what I ended up doing was I just attached some twine in kind of like a zigzagged pattern, and I just hot glued the twine to the back of the frame. And I found these clothespins at Dollar General, and I just attached the cards that we would receive. And this was just like a really fun way. This occupies a lot of space, so if you don't know what to do for the holidays, this is a really affordable way to kind of get a high-end look on a budget. Number 19, a super simple project and an easy upcycle is to take a pack of leg warmers from the Dollar Tree, grab a hurricane vase from the Dollar Tree, and basically just combine the two. I love a good sweater vase for fall. I love it for Christmas. It's the perfect time to use it. And I love that there's no adhesive. When Christmas is over, boop, just pop that leg warmer right off and you have a fresh, clean slate to work with again. Love this project and definitely recommend it. DIY number 20 is to make a Pinecone potpourri display. I love that this is an all Dollar Tree project, as so many of them are, but basically you want to take a cup that you can find in like the dinnerware section, add some hot glue to the bottom of that cup, and then you're going to take a white bowl from the Dollar Tree and you're going to flip that upside down, flip the cup upside down, and then you're going to place it so you can keep it nice and centered. And after that solidifies, you can paint this whatever color you want. I ended up going with gold because I was trying to replicate something I had seen on Pottery Barn's website. After the spray paint had dried, I grabbed some pine cones that I had found outside, as well as one of those scented bags, and I added a little bit of greenery to it. And I can tell you, I've been in Pottery Barn recently. This is something that they still do. Although this DIY is now a few years old, I think it is still very relevant and very trendy and very beautiful. Project 21 is to make a bell candle. Again, this project is a few years old, but they still sell it at Pottery Barn today. So I took 2 white bowls from the Dollar Tree, and we're basically going to create almost like a bell-shaped candle. So I grabbed also 3 of the pillar candles, which is exactly how much you'll need to kind of fill one of these bowls up. The first thing I did was I just removed the labeling, so then that way the spray paint would adhere really well to this glass bowl. I ended up taking the bowls outside and just gave the exterior of the bowls a quick coat of that same gold spray paint as we did in the last project, and then I melted the wax from the candles down. I only end up using 1 of the wicks. If I was to do this project today, I would probably still use all 3, so then that way the candle would melt down really evenly, but that would be really the only thing I would change. I glued the top of the wick down to a kebab stick just so then that way it would stay out of the way while I was pouring in the remainder of the wax. For the top handled piece, the only thing I was really able to come up with at the time was to take some clay and just kind of form it into this shape that was similar to the one I had seen on Pottery Barn's website, and it ended up working out just fine. I ended up just hot gluing either side to the top and then spray painting the top piece all over again. Once the wax had dried, I just trimmed the wick down, I added some jute rope cording, and this was the end result. And last but not least is to make a Pottery Barn Antler candle holder. To do this, all I did was take a Dollar Tree hurricane vase, and I took 2 antlers that my father-in-law had gifted me, and I'm going to just intertwine them to kind of encompass the hurricane vase. And I just did so using some hot glue. If I was to do this project today, I might add some super glue gel just to give it a really nice and secure hold. Grabbed a Dollar Tree pillar candle, and I think I'm able to achieve that look for a whole lot less. And that about wraps it up for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. We have so much exciting Christmas and holiday content coming your way this holiday season, so make sure you are subscribed and you hit your bell so you know anytime I post a new video, and I will see you guys next Sunday. Bye.